So here we are back with our level 71 Blue Lore Master playing at Landscape difficulty 9, the maximum landscape difficulty, with his extremely weak gear, about roughly, on average anyway, about 20 levels lower than him. He has some level 58 gear, some level 59 gear, a lot of it's level 50. Some of it's crafted, some of it's not. He has a couple of pieces that are a little bit higher, but generally very poor gear. Using the Eagle Pet. And we're going to do one mission in this video. I realized that just showing kind of wide open landscape poles wasn't really good enough, because for a lot of quests you have to go into camps full of enemies, and you have to carefully pull and maneuver your way around. There's one mission here in Trestle Bridge which works out pretty well, Invaders on the Delf, and there's a mix of normal mobs, and there's a couple of signature mobs. I think there's only two actually, but anyway, a couple of signature mobs, and they generally come in groups of 2 or 3. And I think that's going to show a little bit better how this character plays. Now, when you go into an instance that's set for 1 or 2 players, your landscape difficulty does not get disabled. So he's still going to be at landscape difficulty 9 in there. Now, I've been showing these examples mostly with no buffs. I think I am going to use the one good self buff I have, which is going to give me 10% morale. And although I'm not going to use a whole bunch of food buffs, I think I'll use the hope token too. There's no dread in these instances, but the hope gives me a little bit more morale and just a tiny bit more outgoing damage. I think it's like 3%. I'd have to look it up to be sure. It's a very, very small amount. So here we go. We're going to go into the Trestle Bridge mission, Invaders on the Delf. Missions are always set to your own level. Most of the mobs in there are going to be exactly the level of your character. We're not going to bother reading all this. We're just going to go right into the mission. Now, in these missions, you do get help in the form of an NPC. And this NPC is actually pretty good. I mean, she'll tank and she'll heal. But after I accept the quests, I'm going to dismiss her because I don't want her getting in the way of showing how the character works. So we're just going to dismiss that NPC. We'll have to bring her back again at the end of the mission so that we can complete the mission and turn everything in. So we've got our 2 little buffs running, 10% extra morale for motivated, and a tiny bit of extra morale, and I think it's 3% extra morale, and extra outgoing damage from the hope token with no dread working against it. So let's see how this goes. So as you can see here, there's 2 targets directly in front of me, and if you look at the radar, you can see there's a 3rd one that's also really close, and a 4th one coming up close behind. I'm not going to worry about those guys. They should be just far enough away. And we're going to start by just sending in the bird, first to one target, and then the other one. And we're going to start with one of the bird's AoE attacks, and now I'm going to set up his wild sigil buffs and start helping him out a little bit. Pulled aggro. Well, that's what the lightning charge staff strike is for. See, I take a lot of damage when I do get hit, though, don't I? Wow. That's landscape difficulty 9, folks. Especially when you're wearing cloth armor that's 20 levels below the level of your character. You're going to take a lot of damage when you get hit. So you don't want to get hit. Don't get sloppy like I just did. So here's a ranged attacker. We're going to send the bird straight in over there. And we're going to get our sigil buffs going. Let the bird do his thing with Sign of the Wild Rage. And then we're going to help the bird out a little bit. And that'll take that guy out. Okay. And here's another, this guy also does ranged attacks, so we're going to send the bird in first. And I'm going to refresh all the signals by starting with Retribution. I'm not going to get too fancy here. And that should finish that guy off. I have critical coordination running, so I'd like to use that, but there's really no need. We'll refresh our sigils, and then we'll use Sign of the Wild Rage, and that should take this guy out. Not quite. It'll get to be taken out in a second, though. Okay, well, there's nothing else up here to fight. I'm going to actually complete the mission, so I'm going to waste a little of your time while you watch me pick up all this junk off the ground here. By the time we're done with this and we get to the next mob, we're probably going to have to use Retribution to refresh all of our sigils quickly again. No big deal, though. Yeah, I'm going to stop and get this card. Yeah, as you can see, all of the wild sigil buffs are gone. No big deal. We'll get him back in a sec. This guy's all by himself. He's the perfect target for this. Let the bird get one hit. And then Retribution, Wild Sigil, Wild Sigil, Wild Sigil, and let's get the aggro back on the bird and off me. And finish him off. And he'll be done in a sec. The bird's missing a lot. I don't know why. He usually doesn't. Send the bird in first. Start with Sign of the Wild Rage. There's now no chance that I'm going to pull aggro off the bird. And we'll just let that cycle through, and that'll be that. And as you can see, the bird's taking essentially no damage at all. Send the bird in. Sign of the Wild Rage. Cast our Wizard's X skills one time to refresh the wild sigils on the pet. Get a Burning Embers in there for the dot. Whoops, I used the wrong skill. Oh well. And that's going to finish that guy off. And move the bird in again. And we've got our sigils one time each to refresh them. Although I think we're going to be picking stuff up and they're all going to drop off anyway. Yeah. Oh no, there's the Overseer. That's the one signature you get on each side of this instance. Let's do that. Give him another big peck. I'm going to throw that on him. And I'm going to transfer some threat here. And as you can see, I didn't do anything other than Inner Flame, and that made this guy run right back to the bird. And I took a little hit or two, but not enough to really worry me. Okay. So, and I stupidly allowed the sigils to drop off because I was too busy talking to you about everything that I was doing. So, don't get distracted the way I am. Okay. So we're going to go down this little hill here. There's going to be a few more mobs and a few more of these things to pick up off the ground, and then we'll be done. Okay, here's a nice pair. We'll send the bird into one. We're going to send the bird into a third. You know what? I'm going to send the bird over to the third one over there as well. And I'm going to do Retribution. Boom. Boom. I'm getting hit, so I'm going to have the bird get the aggro back. And I didn't get to do all my sigils, but I did get to do the two that increases the bird's increases the pet's outgoing damage, even though I didn't manage to buff it up for defensive purposes. And we took out three really with no trouble. And here's our last guy. We're going to start with an attack with the bird. We'll start with another attack. All these sigils are going to drop off before we get to another mob, so I'm not worried about keeping the sigils up anymore. And we're just going to let the bird finish him off. And that's the end of him. Boy, the bird is missing an awful lot. Gee whiz. He's missing a lot of his auto attacks. I think that's just my bad luck. But it happens. Okay, so this was the East Delf. Now we have to go over to the West Delf, and we're going to clear another bunch of mobs that are going to be just like this, and pick up more stuff off the ground. And those things are going to be pretty much the same kind of groups as we just saw. There will be one signature enemy to deal with, just as there was on the East Delf side. But this is a lot what it's like when you are playing on the landscape and you run into a camp full of critters. It's about like this. This is where I really wish I had blinding flash. I'd love to flash just one of these guys and hit one of them at a time, but that's locked deep in yellow. You can only get that if you're a blue lore master when you're really high level, and this guy is not really high level yet. Oh, he is level 72 now. I turned some tasks in before doing this video, and he gained 1 level. Anyway, let's send the bird in. And we'll send the bird over there. We're going to have him do a big attack. And now I'm going to buff up his wild sigils. And then we'll do Sign of the Wild Rage. And that'll pretty much knock these guys out. We'll keep the sigil buffs going. That guy will be done from auto attacks from the bird pretty quickly. Oh, man, he's missing a lot of auto attacks. Gee whiz. Oh, man, that is not the norm. That is not the norm. I don't think it has anything to do with anything other than just me having really bad luck tonight. Okay, let's send this guy in. You can see there's a second target there. And as you can see, I'm really just cycling through one pet skill, and then I'm doing some of my own elemental attacks. That refreshes the cooldown faster on Sign of the Wild Rage, and also keeps the wild sigil buffs going on the pet. It's always best to use a pet attack, one of the pet's attacks, before you do a lot of attacks of your own to make sure the pet has enough threat to hold aggro. It's usually not a problem if the pet to just use auto attacks if the pet has all the wild sigil buffs fully tiered up, which I do. I have them fully tiered up, but it's still better to use one of those attacks first. And again, Sign of the Wild Rage triggers a very nice attack from the eagle, so that's the thing to do first, because it's going to refresh that cooldown really quick too. Wow, the pet is just missing and missing like crazy. Damn. I don't know why that's happening. Anyway, send the bird in. Sign of the Wild Rage. Sigils. Our sigils are going to run out of juice before we get to the next one, though, so I'm not going to worry about that. And Sign of the Wild Rage, it'll pretty much finish that guy off. Yeah, there we go. Boy, I haven't had much Eye of Sauron going on yet. I don't think there's been too many corruptions, and the few corruptions that have appeared I was able to ignore. I do have the debuff on me, but I haven't seen one of the little explosion squares appear yet. And if one appears, I just have to run out of it. It's really not a big deal. Frankly, the corruptions are more challenging, but the corruptions are also easy to deal with because I have Dispel Corruption here ready to go. And with the Eagle is out, Dispel Corruption will remove corruption on many targets. It's an AoE Dispel Corruption. Very, very nice. Okay, so we're going to have to refresh our wild sigil buffs, and we're going to do it on this guy here, who's fairly close. And we're going to stun him. Sigil, sigil, sigil. I'm going to get rid of this guy's corruption. I'm going to interrupt him. And we're going to have the bird get aggro back as I am getting hit. And as you can see, the bird's the target again. But boy, it doesn't take much to knock down half my morale, does it? Just one or two little hits from these guys, and I'm in big trouble already. That's why you want the bird to keep aggro when you can. It can be a little challenging if, especially if you have multiple targets and you're still trying to build up the pet's wild sigils, and therefore it's not doing as much damage, and therefore not doing as much threat as it will later. I'm going to come back and pick that stuff up later because I have max wild sigil buffs, and I want to take advantage of that. I'm going to have him do his biggest attack now. Refresh the buffs. Okay, we've got some corruptions to remove. I'm going to help the bird with a little AoE. Back to the bird's own attacks. As you can see, the bird's taking a little bit of damage, but not a big deal. And he gets some morale back every time he uses the skill that I trigger with Sign of the Wild Rage. Okay, I'm going to move him right right in again. We're going to be dealing with 2 targets at a time again. No, 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 come back. See, I made a little mistake there. I didn't mean to get 3. That's okay, we can deal with up to 5 targets at a time. I'm going to use Catmint on the bird. Going to refresh his buffs. Sign of the Wild Rage again. I'm going to use a little AoE of my own. Refresh the buffs, because I'm going to keep right on going to another target when this is done. And I'm going to go right on to that guy. Critical coordination is in recovery, so I can't get a critical coordination proc while it's in recovery. And this guy has a corruption going, but it's one I don't care about, so I'm going to ignore it. Just finish him off. Well, maybe I shouldn't have ignored it. That took a long time to finish that guy off. Okay, let's get the bird in there on this guy. And, okay, got Sign of the Wild Rage. I did a nice hit on the target. I'm going to use Minor Pet Command as well this time, just to try to finish this guy off a little faster. And that's the end of him. Now we're going to come down here, and we're going to send him right into the Overseer. The other 2 guys will probably come after him as well. I'm going to send him over to the ranged guy. Use the big attack. Boom! Oh yeah, that's what I like to see. And we'll do that as well. And the bird has aggro, no problem. Okay, we have a little bit of, we have some corruptions going on, and for some reason it did not get removed. Okay, I'm going to use Catmint, I'm going to use Inner Flame. Need a little bit of healing because one of these guys is a signature. Inner Flame took care of both healing the pet as well as going to use the defensive skill on the bird. That'll also give me a little bit more protection as well. Okay, we have some very, very bad corruptions going on here. I'm going to try to heal the bird. That didn't do a whole lot. I may have to pull the bear out, so I'm going to back up a little bit here. Yep. Hello, bear. Save my ass. And there you go. Bear taunt. Saved me there. Let's put a heal on me. And let's get the bear's buffs up with Retribution and our Wild Sigils. And now the bear's going to do a stun, although this guy is immune to stun because I just stunned him myself. Okay. Well, boy, this guy's taking a long time because I'm really not doing a good job managing the corruptions. Okay, it's working out. Taking its sweet time, though. I think we're going to hit Catmint again. Wow, boy, I rarely have this kind of trouble with these guys. Even here at difficulty 9. I mean, this is just really rare. Wow, that took forever. Oh my goodness. But got it done. I was in a little bit of jeopardy there for a second when the eagle got killed. However, I was able to immediately summon the bear pet, and with Major Pet Command, the bear pet did a taunt on everything within 7 meters of the bear, and all the targets were more than close enough for that to work. And in addition, since I used Major Pet Command in order to trigger the bear's taunt, Major Pet Command transferred 51% of my threat over to the bear. And that means that even without the taunt, all the targets are going to choose the bear as their target instead of me. So that worked out fine. I didn't even get hit that hard, and a little bit of damage I took, I was able to heal with my very weak Water Lore skill. Water Lore used to be much, much better. It was really terribly weakened with update 41. But, you know, that's what you got. and it does stack if you cast it a couple of times in advance when you know you're about to go into something dangerous. That can help. You just have to remember that any actual healing it does is going to generate threat. Water lore doing a heal which doesn't actually heal does not generate threat. It's only actual healing that generates threat. Anyway, that's pretty much the end of that mission. We're just going to go back where we need to go here. I'm going to resummon that NPC, who, by the way, would have made that mission absolute cheesecake. It would have been very, very easy because she is both a tank and a healer. It's almost unfair to use this NPC in these missions. Oh, she walked away from me. Stop walking away from me. Okay, I'm just going to turn this in, and then I'm going to wrap this up. So, again, this character has really bad gear. I mean, just bad gear. Gear that's as much as 22 levels, more than that even, under the level of the character. But because the pets neither gain bonuses nor take any penalties, don't gain bonuses from really good gear, nor do they suffer any penalties from really bad gear. The pets are always the same. We were able to do pretty well. The lore master himself wasn't contributing a lot because his gear is so terrible, but the pet was doing well enough. And if I had been paying more attention and not trying to talk to you guys while I was playing, I would hopefully have had more focus and would not have made quite as many mistakes as I did. The pet, the eagle that is, definitely should not have been defeated in that one battle where I was fighting 3, including 1 signature. That should not have gone as badly as it did, nor taken as long as it did. But I simply wasn't managing the corruptions well. And at difficulty 9, if you're fighting on level or higher level enemies, you're going to get corruptions that you're going to have to deal with sometimes, as well as those area effect ground explosions. Anyway, that's the end of this video. I hope you found this interesting. Once again, to repeat myself, as I've been doing for every video in the series so far, the key is to have the pet run with its maximum wild sigil buffs, and the way to get that is to cast each of your wizard sigils, that is your wizard spark, wizard's fire, wizard's frost skills, 5 times each. But rather than doing it 5 times each, the better way to do it is to cast Retribution, because Retribution will give you a brief 4-second buff, which not only makes these skills stronger and makes them AoE, but also gives the pet the tier 5, the maximum level of their wild sigil buffs with a single cast. And then all you have to do is cast them each one of these wizard sigil skills once every 30 seconds or so, and that'll keep them maxed out on the wild sigil buffs maxed out on the pet, which is what you need. And then you use your pet skills. Minor Pet Command is with the eagle, that's a strong single target attack. The attack that you do is meaninglessly small, but the attack the pet does is quite strong and includes a very good dot as well. Major Pet Command. Sometimes it's good to save Major Pet Command for when you really need it, the way I did in this video when the eagle was defeated and I had to summon the bear to pull everything off me. So Major Pet Command has a 1-minute cooldown, much longer than the 20-second cooldown of Minor Pet Command. But in the case of the eagle, this is an extremely powerful AoE attack that it will trigger for you. Although, again, the attack that you do is meaninglessly small. Sign of the Wild Rage is a short cooldown, only 15 seconds. The cooldown's reduced every time you use any of your own elemental skills. It's a pretty good AoE attack, and it'll heal the eagle a little bit for each target that it hits. So this is your bread and butter skill right here, Sign of the Wild Rage. You max out the pet's wild sigil buffs, and then you use Sign of the Wild Rage every time it comes off cooldown, unless there's a good reason not to. And finally, the eagle has you use Sign of the Wild protection with the eagle. It gives the eagle a modest self-protection buff and gives the lore master a long 1 minute buff, which allows the lore master to get a big heal if the lore master is hit with an attack that would otherwise have defeated it. Just to show you that skill. It says if you fall below 1% morale, you'll recover 50% morale. The only time you ever fall below 1% morale is if you take a hit that's gonna defeat you. But instead of being defeated, boom, you're back to 50% morale. That can only trigger one time during the course of that minute, but that one time is enough usually to give you an opportunity to continue the battle and finish it off successfully. So that's how this plays. Have more focus than I did. Don't make the mistakes I did. Keep up your wild sigil buffs and use your lore master's personal skills to trigger the pet skills. Minor Pet Command, Major Pet Command, Sign of the Wild Rage, the most important one, and Sign of the Wild Protection. Thanks again for watching. There are going to be at least 2 more videos in the series, and then I think I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks very much, and I will see you next time.